I became vegan back when I went to college at North Carolina Central University. So I've been vegan for 23 years. And what made me become vegan was I had a good friend that I connected with. His name was Ahmad Yarborough. On the day, it was a Wednesday at North Carolina Central University, which in black colleges, HBCUs, it's called Chicken Wednesdays. So Chicken Wednesdays is all about every HBCU has fried chicken for lunch and dinner. So it's a big thing. They have DJs in the cafeteria. It's just a whole big thing. So as we were going to the cafeteria, my good friend was like, "Hey man, you know I don't eat meat." I was like, "What? You don't eat meat?" And he was like, "Yeah, I don't eat meat." And started going into some reasons why he doesn't eat meat. And I'm like, okay, well, just like the questions that I get asked now and other vegans get asked, I asked him, well, what is it that you eat? He was like, I eat everything that comes from out the soil, from out the earth. And then he went into the verses of Genesis 1:29 and started talking about that and speaking about the aspect of us also originating from the earth and the reason why we should eat from the earth. And even though all of that was in my mind and it made sense to me because truth is very verifiable, I still was like, okay, I'm going to get my chicken. I'm going to eat my chicken. So sure enough, we go into the cafeteria and he gets nothing but the sides, the greens, your mac, all those things. That's what he got. And I got my chicken and we sat down and we continued to talk. A lot of things that he was saying made a lot of sense as I continued to eat my chicken. But when I got back into the dorm, again, truth being something that's very verifiable, it made me go into the research. I call it the Alice in Wonderland hole, where you go down the rabbit hole and you start to find out more things. So the more I found out, the more that it made sense to me and the more that it resonated with my spirit. So I went on my journey from there, and that's how I became a vegan and I gave up meat. So it's been 23 years ago, I'm 43. And I'm proud to be vegan. I used to have eczema, so it ran in my family, or they say it runs in your family, even though it's really a lifestyle that runs in your family that causes it. But I used to have eczema patches that popped up in the crevices of my arms and things of that nature. I used to have some acne issues. I used to have real bad allergies, nosebleeds, and other things of that nature. So as I started to take certain things out of my diet, once I realized that dairy was one of the main causes, especially in the African American community, that causes eczema and other issues, I started to give those things up. I read a book called Milk, the Deadly Substance, and I forgot the name of the doctor who wrote it, but it was a book about this thick, and it started talking about how it causes earaches, nosebleeds, and mucus, and all those things. I was like, wow. I'm getting all those things in my body, so as I gave those things up, my skin cleared up. You would never believe that I ever had eczema. You would never believe that I had acne problems, and allergies was just a real bad thing for me. So I realized that once I was giving those things up, all those things stopped happening to me, and energy-wise and mental clarity was just came with it. And at 43 years old, I still can do things as if I'm 20, but I feel better than I've ever felt before, even at 20 years old, physically, by going into the lifestyle. So it's been a very great move for me. I identify with the African American melanated community. So for that perspective, we lead in every health-related disease in America, from heart disease to liver dysfunctions to kidney dysfunctions to diabetes to heart attacks to strokes, autoimmune diseases, you can name them. This comes from the things that we're putting on our plates, the things that we're eating. And so health-wise is very important for us to be able to regain our health within our community so that we can feel better. Once you start to feel better, you start to think better. Once you start to think better, you start to treat yourself better and other people better. My company is called Vegan Love Culture, which means going back into the earth for our healing, for our health, and to unite the human family. So I believe that going into the vegan plant-based lifestyle, it is a way to allow the body to start to reverse and heal ailments. And once we start to heal physically and mentally, we start to heal as a community. So that's one of the most personal reasons why I've gotten into it. Then, as I kept going on, then my love for animals and the planet came into play, because I know that animals are other spirit beings just in another physical form. So The cat can communicate with you. The dog can communicate with you. The cow can communicate with you. The goat can communicate with you. The deer, all of them can communicate with you, and they all have feelings, and they love to live, and they want to live free. And once you start to stop harming animals, that's also good for your spirit as well. So, and then the earth, then the planet, and what that does to bring us all together in one and walk in nature in one. It does matter if others go vegan, because in a conglomerate, when people practice this lifestyle, we're putting less stress on the earth. The earth is a place that we all have to live. You're putting less stress on the animals. They coincide within the same aspect that we live. There's no such thing as a pyramid where you're on top and the animals are below you. No, you're in the same cycle with the animals. You're in the same cycle with the earth. So by going into the vegan plant-based lifestyle, you're bringing everything in a conglomerate. It doesn't matter what you go into the lifestyle for. You can go into it for the health, for the animals, or the planet. They will all save one another by going into the lifestyle. So it's very important for others to go into the lifestyle. I feel that certain people in the vegan lifestyle, sometimes they can be very, very hardcore on how they approach certain people. So I know that we all have our own journey going into this lifestyle. So Meatless Mondays is something that's been going on for years, but I do something called Meatless Monday Movement, where I tell people that if you have 53 Mondays within a year, good health comes through accumulation, because you accumulated bad health by doing the same thing over and over again. So how do you accumulate good health? You start with certain days and you implement those healthy habits within your life. I call it one day at a time with urgency. And you have to understand that you are facing diabetes, you are facing heart disease, you are facing impotency, you are facing constipation. There's so many different things that are happening to your body because of what you're eating. So the way that I am able to get across to my viewers is that I put myself in their shoes. I've been there before. So knowing that, I don't just push it on them, but again, I'm also an example. Being the example is the best way. You can talk all you want to, but people have to actually see you doing it, and they have to see the results in order for them to be like, hey, that's something that I can actually get into. So I use Instagram, I use Facebook, I do a little bit of YouTube, but my biggest platforms are Instagram and Facebook. And then I do an event called Vegan Vibe Music Series, where we bring a lot of people together and give people and show people about the vegan options. Going into the lifestyle 23 years ago, of course, I was looked at as being crazy for even thinking to go into that lifestyle. And during that time period, you didn't have as many vegan options. So luckily, Duke University was 10 minutes away from, not even 10, 5 minutes away from North Carolina Central University, where they had Whole Foods there. So Whole Foods has always kind of been in the realm of it. You know, the universe will always bring what you need or what you're searching for, whether it's good or bad, the universe will bring it to you. So I had other people, Rastafarians, Ethiopians, and other people that have been into the lifestyle to show me certain things to get. But some of the most difficult aspects was that you're breaking habits. And anytime that you have to break a habit, that's difficult. You know, they say that it takes 21 days to break a habit. Sometimes I'll say longer than that. So once you've been doing something for so long and you've been conditioned to do it for so long, your DNA, your cells and everything will call for it as you're trying to break it. So those are some of the most difficult aspects. But every hurdle that you get over, mentally you become stronger. You become stronger through the discipline, because discipline, what you're eating, brings on success in every other aspect in your life. So conquering those mental aspects, because that's all it is, it's only mental. And as you conquer that, you become stronger. So yeah, one of my biggest issues was just conquering that aspect of, okay, I'm going to actually give up chicken. I'm actually going to give up eating Whoppers and things of that nature. So that was my biggest issue. I don't have any regrets. If there was only one regret that I would have, is that I didn't learn about it earlier, you know, because then I wouldn't have to have faced eczema issues and all these different allergies and waking up at night, you know, being an athlete, I was an athlete all throughout middle school, high school. I've always played sports, and I was always thinking, hey, you're supposed to drink this milk and you're supposed to eat all these quote unquote proteins, but my body was so stopped up and jammed up with mucus and nosebleeds and allergies and flus. If I would have known that at an earlier time period, I would have been better off. So that's my only regret, is that I didn't learn about this lifestyle earlier. But far as me going into the lifestyle and where it has brought me today to be a public figure for the lifestyle, to be a way that I'm able to make a living through this lifestyle, I have no regrets. I know for a fact that the Creator Yah put me on this path in order to be able to wake up humanity in my own way. So I have no regrets. No, I don't take any medications. I always tell people all the time that my medication is the earth. I bring in herbs from out of Africa. I believe that everything that's in the earth is a way for us to be able to heal our bodies by just going back into the plant-based lifestyle, whether it's through herbs or food. So my medication or anything that I take comes from the earth. I haven't visited the doctor in a while, but I will tell you this. I had a car accident last year, and someone had hit me in the back, so I had to go to the chiropractor. So when I went to the chiropractor, they have to do the whole scan of the body and x-ray and all that type of stuff. So my chiropractor came back to me and she was like, hey, this is something that's amazing. And I was like, okay, what are you saying? She said, you have to practice a good lifestyle, because when I look in your body, there are you don't have any tumors or anything in your body. And most of the people that come back to me, I have to give them the devastating news that they have tumors growing in their body. So she was like, well, what do you do? I said, well, I practice a plant-based lifestyle, and I bring in herbs that I put into my body, moringa, baobab, soursop, other things that I bring in from Africa. And all those things are anti-tumor and things of that nature. But it's all from going into the Genesis 129 lifestyle that has kept me away from medications or going to the doctor or having any of those issues. If I happen to get sick, if I happen to have a fever or anything, it'll last me for a day. I know exactly what to do, and I haven't had that happen to me in years, so I know what to do. It's a lifestyle change. The only supplements that I take is moringa. So if you want to consider, moringa is an African herb. If you want to consider that a supplement, it's a superfood supplement that comes from out of Africa, or baobab, or yeah, those are the supplements. They're from the earth, but nothing from synthetically made, if you say. I always love to eat avocados. Avocados is people talk about bad fats. Avocado is a good fat for the body that does so much for the system, especially for men, because it's also a natural aphrodisiac for men as well. So it's good for male manhood. So they call it the gonad fruit. So that's one of the great things that I eat. Of course, your beans, your organic tofus, your tempehs, and things of that nature. I'm also a big smoothie guy, you know, especially during the summertime. I'll make sure I put all my superfoods in a smoothie, whether it's hemp-based or coconut-based milk, and with my moringa, my baobab, and my strongman herb. That's a natural, two of the strongest aphrodisiacs that come out of Africa that helps the male to keep his testosterone level at a different place. So those are some of the staples that I eat. Bananas, nuts. When watermelon season is in, I'm always eating seeded watermelons, because those are very good for detoxifying the body. And also, again, I keep talking about the aphrodisiacs, but that's for men, we need that. So yeah. I think that sometimes when people hear the word vegan, it gets complicated for them. And the more complicated that it sounds, they ask you questions like, hey, well, what can I do to get started? How do I get started? And I'll say, well, listen, have you ever just had pinto beans, cabbage, black eyed peas, candy yams? Like these are certain things that our elders, especially our grandmothers, they grew up, and our grandfathers, they grew up having meatless meals all the time. You have to tap back into that. I think that it's very important that you just start from the basics and don't complicate it so much, because it's really just more about eating plants. Just making sure you're eating the plants that come from the earth. So I tell people to get started off of Meatless Mondays, which I call the Meatless Monday movement. Take that Monday. It's a great thing to do, especially if you have a family. It's a way to be able to bring the family together and do something that's family oriented, especially with all the moving parts of what we do in America nowadays. You bring your family together. Hey, we're gonna do Meatless Mondays. Let's go get some recipes and let's make this meatless meal. I think that's the best way to get started. Start one day, start with your Monday and remove meat out of your body for 53 days on a Monday, Meatless Monday movement. I think that's the best way because it can lead you to doing it 3 days a week. I've seen it lead people to being all the way vegans. So you just take that day and see where the rabbit hole takes you. Longevity and consistency is something that's going to help anybody because you do have to get over the hump of, okay, me going into this lifestyle and saying, okay, let me go in and dive in for a week, 2 or 3 weeks, and let's say, okay, because a lot of people in Christianity, they practice a Daniel fast. Daniel told the king that if you put me on water, fruits, and vegetables for the next 2 weeks, I will show you that we will be the strongest service that you have. So a lot of people go into the Daniel fast and they say that that's the best that their bodies ever feel. So I always say to them, well, imagine a Daniel fast every single day of your life. You only take it out for a certain amount of time, where many of us in the plant-based vegan lifestyle, we do it every day. So imagine going 3 months, imagine going 6 months, imagine going a year doing the Daniel fast and how your body would feel. So obviously you can also go longer. You can go way past Meatless Mondays. I would advocate for you to go a lot longer than just Meatless Mondays, you know? So yeah, practice the Daniel fast for 6 months and see how your body feels. In the African American community, I always have to speak on my community because we're faced with so many health-related problems in our community. People that have come to me, you know, to ask me about how can they start to heal some of the ailments or reverse some of the aspects, I always say that you have to go back into the earth. You have to practice the Genesis 1:29 lifestyle. And so when you're going through certain ailments that are causing you very, very bad issues, you have to be serious about it. You have to be as extreme with your lifestyle as that disease has been extreme with you. So I had a few great testimonies. I had a few women that have avoided hysterectomies by taking some of the herbs that I take and also changing their lifestyle and their diets to get rid of some of the tumors and cysts that would have caused them to have hysterectomies, losing weight. Had a few guys that came to me that had some cysts coming up on their colon, and I would put them on a plant-based lifestyle, would put them on a more raw lifestyle, and also incorporating the herbs. And they would go to the doctor and they'd come back and those cysts would have been left out of their system. People that are bringing down their A1C counts, people that are going, I had one guy who was, he was at level 2 heart disease, and he gave me his testimony. He actually showed me his work where he implemented the plant-based vegan lifestyle for 2.5 months, went back to the doctor, and the doctor told him, whatever that you are doing, keep doing it because your results are that you are reversing the ailments that we thought we were going to have to end up giving you surgery for. So there's so many different testimonies that happen. People that are getting rid of depression issues, inflammation problems, arthritis issues. The testimonies are out there. So I have more testimonies, but those are just a few that I'll share. One thing that I always say is good health is true wealth. And what do I mean by that? Obviously in America, we have all of the first world things that we need. We can get the best iPhones, we can get the best cars, we can get the best houses, we get all those things, but we happen to be the most unhealthy nation in the whole entire world. What good does it to have all of the materialistic things in the world, but you don't have your health? There are multimillionaires that are on their deathbed right now, and they would give up every single dollar just to get a new body. I say good health is true wealth because you can lose your house and get another one back as long as you're here to do it. You can lose your car, you can lose all those materialistic things. And as long as you have your health, you can be here long enough to regain those things. But once the body starts to break down on you, once your inner organs start to break down on you, You only get one body. So your body is priceless. There's no price that you can put on your health when it comes to your internal organs, because you only get one. You only get one body. So I say good health is true wealth, and that's what's something that I go by on a daily basis. There's a book out called Shifting Your Paradigm, Guideline to Optimum Health in the African American Community by Dr. Ushaka Craig. That's a book that I always refer a lot of people to. And Queen Afua, Womb Healing, I can't actually think of the whole name, but Queen Afua, you can look her up. She's very, very powerful. Dr. Drew Pulcrum is another great person. And also look up Dr. Lamar Price, Dr. Lamar Edward Price, Dynamic Health Solutions on Instagram. He's an iridologist and also has traveled the world, and he's studied the whole body. He goes throughout the world to show people about how people in other parts of the world eat from the earth, and they're not walking around with canes, they're not obese or any of those things. And he's also good at helping to reverse problems. So Dr. Lamar Price is one of the most current people that I speak about. No, there's there's no chance that I'll ever put a dead embryo in my body, what they call an egg. There's no way that I'll ever put a cow's ass in my mouth again, what they call roast beef. There's no way that I would ever put anything in my system that would cause my system to break down, because what I realized that you reverse ailments and you also reverse aging by going back into the earth, because you identify with the earth, because that's where you come from. I don't look 43. You can compare me to the average 43-year-old black man anywhere in America, and there's a lifestyle that I'm practicing. So I know that the fountain of youth lies in the earth. If you want to speed up your health problems, or you want to speed up leaving this earth, keep eating a bunch of dead animals, and you're gonna see what's gonna happen to you. You think that you're enjoying those animals, but the animals get the last laugh on you every single time, because they will be the reason why you end up in that hospital looking for ways to keep your body as your body breaks down on you. I never have any desires to ever put meat in my system. Now, does that mean that whenever they put seasoning on chicken and things like that, that it doesn't smell good? Because seasons are the reasons why people eat what they eat. If you don't have seasons on a steak, if you don't have seasoning on chicken, it's nothing that you're gonna want. So yeah, different smells can make you say, wow, that actually smells good. But in my mind and how my DNA code works, there's no way possible that I would ever want to put it back in my system ever. Matter of fact, to even think about putting it back in my system, it actually makes me sick to my stomach. So I never even have the desire to want to put anything that was killed, that has sex or can have babies or can poop. I don't want to put it in my body. So no, I never have the desire. I think some of the reasons why people quit the lifestyle is that sometimes they don't get over the hump of what their body continues to call for, because you're being conditioned to think certain ways or to eat certain things. And what you put on your plate requires discipline. And some people don't have that fortitude or discipline or that mental strength to be able to do so. And I think that's one of the reasons why people quit. And I think one of the ways where people can continue to elevate in the lifestyle is that becoming vegan and plant-based is one aspect of it. But you also should be active. You also should be working out. You also should be doing other things that build up discipline in your life and build up healthy habits in your life, because it is a conglomerate. So eating the correct way, working out, positive affirmations, all those things can keep you on the path. And most people don't get through that threshold and they give up on it. So if you can make it through that threshold, which is that time when you're really, really needing that meat, and you're like, you know what? Now I'm gonna have exactly what I have in that refrigerator that I got from the farmer's market, those fruits or those vegetables or whatever it is, that Beyond Meat burger, I'm gonna have that, I'll be fine, and I'll get through it. If I wasn't an activist, I would definitely travel. Well, I'd still travel. You know, I'd be going to Africa a lot. But before I moved to Africa, because I lived in Africa from 2006 to 2017, I used to do cable I was a cable technician, and I'm a Libra. So if you know anything about Libras, Libras, we're air signs. So we like to float. We like to be out. So cable is something that I love doing because it allowed me to be free, a job that I love that it didn't have me inside the house. So that's something I'd be doing. I'd also probably be more, man, that's a tough one. It would have to be traveling. It would have to be traveling and seeing the world more, but you can do that and be an activist at the same time. So I hope that answered that question pretty good. Series that we put on is called Vegan Vibe Music Series. And what we've done is that in Concord, North Carolina, this is the 3rd annual. We started in Charlotte, but then we moved to Concord, my hometown, where we infuse live music, live DJs, live performances, and different eco-friendly products and 15 different vegan food options at breweries. Cabarrus Brewing Company in Concord. Shout out to Cabarrus Brewing Company, where we are opening up people and giving people an understanding about what the vegan lifestyle is about. Showing people the different vegan options that's out there for people to get involved with. So that's one of the main events that we do. We do it for 6 Sundays. We just finished it up. We do different genres of music, from old school hip hop to jazz to old school R&B to alternative classic rock, Jamaican music or reggae. So we do different genres of music, and it's a very, 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 very dope event to bring more awareness. My Instagram is Morathi Howie, MorathiHowie, and my Facebook is also Morathi Howie as well. You can Google me to find out more about what I'm about, and my YouTube channel is Vegan Love Culture, where you'll see some of my interviews. So those are the ways that I intend to get the message out to the people. Vegan Love Culture, which means going into the earth for your healing, for your health, and to unite the human families. I should have worn my shirt today, but I didn't. So if you want to find out more about Vegan Vibe Music Series, you can follow us on veganvibemusicseries.com. On Instagram, it's Vegan Vibe Series. On Facebook, it's Vegan Vibe Music Series. And if you want to find out more about what I do and the herbs that I bring in, it's VLCshop.com. So the Victor Love Culture Shop.com, VLCshop.com. And also, we bring in the purest sea moss and sea moss gel from out of St. Lucia at kikoboni.com. That's KIKABONI.com, kikoboni.com. Kikoboni means organic in Swahili. So, yeah. And we'll put links of all this in the description of the video.